of this county championship match between Derbyshire and Lancashire, where Lancashire are looking for 7 more wickets to win the game, and Derbyshire are hoping to bat the day out to get a draw. They have a notional 374 more runs required for victory. I'd like to apologise in advance for the public address system, which will interrupt us at various points during the day. I have asked them if they'll switch it down, but they've refused. I'm Dave Fletcher from BBC Radio Derby, and this is Scott Reed from BBC Radio Lancashire.
Good morning, Fletch. Good morning, everybody.
So the umpires, James Treadwell and Paul Baldwin, are about to take the field. Lancashire's players assembling on the boundary's edge. Compared to Monday, when it was quite warm here at Chesterfield, it's got a bit parky, and the wind has got up, and there was some rain overnight, but we are going to get an 11 o'clock start.
Hey.
Yes, we're all thrilled about that. Perhaps not so much from the Derbyshire perspective, but
yes.
Yes.
Well, it's 120 runs a session,
Isn't it?
in that area, isn't it?
Yeah, very much in that area.
Yeah, crack on.
Yeah. Wayne Madsen is unbeaten on 39. Brooke Guest unbeaten on 21 when we get back underway. The 2 not-out bats when they've already lost both openers. Mitch Wagstaff and Caleb Jewell, as well as Harry Kane.
Umpires James Treadwell and Paul Baldwin, and Lancashire led by Captain James Anderson.
That's him.
Resuming the batting for Derbyshire, Wayne Madsen and Brooke Guest.
Thank you, Jane.
Well done.
Jane Huff, the Derbyshire scorer and announcer. She quietened down for 2 days, but she's back up on full volume again today for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But she is. The noise you can hear in the background is the light roller being taken off. It's dragged.
What's going on
from the field? It's that squeaky noise in the background.
Feels a bit chaotic today. It's the start of today.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? It does a little bit. Smallest crowd of the match you might expect. Final day. Result, well, looks inevitable. You would have thought. And even if they don't break through early, which at the beginning of matches, beginning of days so far in this match, there have been wickets early on all 3 days. So why that would change, I've absolutely no idea. And there'll be a new ball in 33 overs time as well. So we've got that to look forward to from a Derbyshire perspective. Looks like we're going to see Tom Bailey from the pavilion end, opening up here at Queen's Park, which has been a delight. Part of the
to bowl from the pavilion end, Tom Bailey.
Part of the Chesterfield Festival. A bit quieter today than it has been for the first 3 days, as I say. It'll liven up again on Sunday when the Yorkies are in town. It gets a bit lively for the traditional T20. 7 in a row, Derbyshire have won. We're clinging on to that. And here we go, Tom Bailey to open proceedings, bowling to Brooke Guest, who gets bat on ball. It goes out to Josh Bohannon, who's at mid-wicket. And we're underway. 3 slips, a backward point, a cover, a mid-off, mid-on, a mid-wicket, well, 2 of them. Josh Bohannon close in, and Luke Wells slightly further away, and then a deep backward square leg, who I'm almost certain is Michael Jones, who threw a couple of balls in yesterday that were a little bit eccentric, and then threw one right over the stumps and got a standing ovation from his teammates. As Bailey goes in again, and Guest pushes this out into the offside, and 2 of the 2 balls of the 96 overs Derbyshire have got to survive today have already been successfully negotiated. Welcome if you're listening to us on the BBC Sport website and app, or indeed on BBC Sounds via Sports Extra 3, which I think is, as we discussed at Old Trafford, probably the most prestigious of the Sports Extra channels.
Definitely.
Although apologies if you were tuning in for the Warwickshire game, which I think is the one that's advertised, as Bailey is in. That one's turned into the leg side again. Bohannon does the fielding, and there's no Derbyshire's chief executive turned up. Look, Ryan Duckett.
No sign of the fancy hat.
No hat today. No hat.
It's not a hat day today, is it? It's not required, really.
Yeah, I think it would probably blow off.
Yes.
If he was wearing it today.
Yeah.
There are more coats in evidence than at any other time, including in the commentary box, but out amongst the crowd, hardy souls. No sign of the sun. Bailey is in, and that will move off a thickish edge. First run of the day. Scored by Brooke Guest, which means he moves on to 22. Derbyshire on to 140. That should have been fairly straightforward. Derbyshire's highest fourth innings total, 396 all out against Leicestershire in 2007. They've actually been set 513, which may be beyond them. We saw a Jimmy Anderson no ball yesterday.
It's a rarity. You made a note of that, didn't you?
I did make a note of that.
Rightly so.
Yes. As Wayne Madsen faces his first delivery of the day, and the ball is pushed into the onside by the Derbyshire skipper, who in the first innings made his highest score he'd made against Lancashire when he made 70. His previous highest score against Lancashire was remarkable, really. It was 29. First appearance of George Bell of the day, the substitute for Lancashire, going past us. As Bailey's in again, and that one keeps a little bit low, and Wayne Madsen makes sure that everybody knows by just bending at the knees. We do have updates coming up for both Radio Derby and for BBC Radio Lancashire and Manchester. First over has come to an end though, so 95 to go now. One run added to the over.
To bowl from the Lake End, James Anderson.
There we go. Anderson, who has bowled, I think, predominantly from the Lake End, from memory of the course of this match. He's bowled 11 overs so far in this Derbyshire second innings, 1 for 38. 4 maidens in there, and that no ball, which stunned everybody. Here's the update. Well, they've managed to negotiate the first of those 96 overs successfully, Sally. They've added a run as well. They're 140 for 3. The notional target now 373 more runs. But as you say, they have to bat all day. Brooke Guest's on 22. Skipper Wayne Madsen is on 39. And so far, so good, but it's very early days. First ball of the next over is off a leading edge into the offside. Brooke Guest just listening to the weather forecast in my ears. There is rain about, not necessarily specifically to this area. We're in the north of the county. As in comes Anderson again and bowls, and that's clipped nicely into the leg side by Brooke Guest. The outfield is very, very quick, and it hasn't shown there any signs of it slowing up because of the rain, as George Balderson has an unsuccessful chase to the boundary, and Guest picks up the first boundary of the day. He moves on to 26, 144 for 3. It's a real missed opportunity for Derbyshire, this, you would think, with Division 2 leaders Leicestershire. Again having a 3-day game, but this time finishing on the wrong end of it, losing by an innings to Middlesex. As Anderson bowls and Guest turns that one into the leg side. There's no run. That was the one game that finished yesterday. 2 other games going on in Division 2 at the moment. In their final days, Kent against Northamptonshire, at Canterbury, where Northamptonshire, in their first innings, are 628 for 6 and leading by 62. Doesn't appear to be going anywhere, that game. The other one is down in Cardiff at Sophia Gardens, where Gloucestershire are 18 without loss, trailing Glamorgan by 130 in their second innings. As Anderson comes into bowl to Guest again, and that one is pushed out into the offside. Fielded by Luke Wells, and there's no run.
Yeah, that Leicestershire result. I mean, they could have gone all season unbeaten, of course, but it's the manner of the defeat, isn't it? It's not that, oh, Leicestershire have lost, that's a massive surprise, because, you know, there's a chance that would have lost at some point down the line, but to have lost so emphatically is maybe the surprise.
Blown it wide open. I'm not sure that it has, because they've got such a good advantage.
Yeah,
but
true.
Anderson bowls, defended by Guest. Yes, they move on. That's the end of the over, incidentally. 100. No, it isn't. As you were. They're on 157 points now from their 9 games, which means that before Derbyshire get the 4 points from this game that we can just about see on the scoreboard, They are, I shouldn't have done that, 35 points clear at the top of the table, which is quite a healthy advantage. It's a good 2 matches worth, isn't it, as Anderson bowls outside the off stump. Against shoulders arms, which in the first innings proved slightly problematic for Derbyshire. 3 players out without playing a shot. It is the end of the over now. 144 for 3, 26 to Guest and 39 to Wayne Madsen. But you're right, Middlesex, who, I mean, it's their 3rd win as well. Derbyshire have only won 2 games, and yet they're 2nd in the table, primarily because you get so many points for drawing games these days. But as things stand, Derbyshire are the only side in the 2nd division not to have lost a game.
Yes.
I mean, it might not last the entirety of today, but for a few hours. I think there's only 1 in the 1st division.
I was just going to check that. I presume it's just Surrey.
I think so.
It is.
The 2 unbeaten sides in the entire country. What can I say?
Here is Tom Bailey in bowling. That's off the back foot and punched towards mid-off, and there's no run. I mean, well, if Lancashire were to win, then it would... They said Leicestershire have got a very healthy gap, haven't they? Lead at the top.
Yeah.
But the rest would be quite bunched up, wouldn't they? There's not a great deal.
No.
20-odd points between Derbyshire, Glamorgan, Middlesex, and if Lancashire take...
Lancashire were going to 102, I think, wouldn't they? 22 from this game, 6 bonus points.
Yes, yep.
So, yeah, don't rule them out.
Bailey over the wicket, balls again, defended by Madsen for no run. The ball was trickling away past the stumps at the non-striker's end.
And while I'm not suggesting that Derbyshire, they're clearly very firm 2nd favourites, but what would it do to Lancashire, I wonder, if they didn't win this game now? Because they've been on top for apart from about the first hour and a quarter on Monday. And they lost 4 wickets relatively quickly. And they have to win this game, don't they?
Bailey sends one down, a slower ball to Madsen, tapped up to mid-off, and there's no run. It would be... I suspect. I mean, I'm sure they would come out and say, "Look, we take a lot of positives from the performance and all that malarkey," but it would be a pretty crushing blow for them because they've been many times. Lancashire have been in positions this season and indeed last, to a lesser degree this season, but at times this season, where they've tried to force wins against Derbyshire, for example, at Old Trafford, last week against Kent at Blackpool, and just couldn't find a way to take the wicket. Flashed away to the onside by Madsen. There's no run, and some of those occasions are down to the pitches flattening out, especially at home. Yeah. And they're just not able to find a way to wrap it up. So I think that would, in this position here, would be a pretty brutal blow for them. Really, I mean, there's clearly, from what I've seen last week and this week, there's a marked difference in terms of the confidence of the players, it would seem. Clipped out to square leg by Madsen for a single. So that's a positive sign that they've, whether that's because of the break for the Blast and they've won some T20 games, they've got a couple of new faces in the dressing room, Turner and Green come in, obviously new captain, new change of voicing, Stephen Crawford, whatever it is, or maybe a combination of all those factors. They look last week and this week a different team compared to the one that lost in a pretty abject performance at Leicestershire before the Blast started. But still, it's getting that win, isn't it? It's getting that 4-day win.
Yeah.
Bailey in. It's a nice shot off the back foot by Brooke Guest, punched away into the offside. It's also a good stop by Jack Blather, wicket cover. It's the end of the over. 145 for 3, Derbyshire. And a slightly blustery start to the 4th and final day.
David Griffin, the club photographer, statistician, heritage officer, he's got his coat on. There's a gentleman to our left with the tie on there. He's putting his big coat on as well. I've left mine in the car. I might regret that later on. And there was a bit of moisture around this morning. I was slightly concerned about the electricity supply, but I just closed my eyes when I plugged it in. And
that often works, doesn't it?
It seemed to work today, fortunately.
If in doubt, just close your eyes and plug it in.
Yeah, we're all up and running.
I was ridiculing myself for even packing my jumper the other day. And
You did mention that. You've got to, though, haven't you?
I'm pleased I did now. Yeah.
We're in England, for goodness sake.
Exactly.
Here's James Anderson. He's just got the 2 slips. As he comes in from the lake end, and Madsen pushes the first ball up towards Tom Bailey at mid-on. So the two slips are Ashton Turner and Keaton Jennings. Madsen was dropped by Jennings yesterday on 8, and Guest was dropped by Turner on 14. And on any other day, I think both of those slip fielders would have expected to have taken those catches. Wonder how they will live to regret that, as Madsen gets a short wide one from Anderson. There's a rarity, and he smashes it away to the cover boundary for 4 runs. So his first boundary of the day, 7th in total. He moves to 44 not out, 149 now. 4-3 Derbyshire. We're in the 51st over of the innings, and there is still a lot to go.
Yeah, and we're a decent way off that, but there's off what I'm about to say. But there is, of course, a second new ball as well, which would come relatively early in the afternoon session, wouldn't it?
Yes, Derbyshire. If they get to lunch 3 down, and it's a huge if. That might just give a bit of confidence to the rest of the changing room. Still to come, Martin Anderson and Anish Dahl, Zach Chappell, Ben Aitchison, and then Blair Tickner and Jack Morley. Morley did hold up Lancashire in the game at Old Trafford earlier in the season as a night watchman, making 40, but it's slightly different to coming out with 30 overs left as the last man, I suspect. In comes Anderson again. Madsen, full face of the bat, pushing it up to Bailey at mid-on again. Bit of fancy dress today, or perhaps that's just his normal clothes. The gentleman who's come as Where's Wally over there on the left-hand side.
Oh yes, I see Where's Wally. Yeah.
I don't think it is fancy dress, but and it's not a particularly good Where's Wally because there's nobody near him. Normally he's in a crowd, isn't he? Anderson bowls to Madsen, who goes back and forces the ball into the ground, stopped by Luke Wells in the covers.
Are the T20 games here kind of fancy dress type affairs? Is that, do you see a bit of that in the T20 games?
No, just well, a lot of them come as drunk people. It would appear.
Right. Okay.
Alcohol consumed on Sunday here, I would imagine.
Good. Yeah.
Extra bars are literally bussed in because they are buses that are converted into bars.
Are they? That's quite.
There's a sort of yellow one, like the school buses. There's one of those.
Nice.
There's Madsen, gets one that pops. There we go. Bottom hand comes off the bat handle. Madsen, who before the start of play on Sunday came over to have a chat with us and lifted his tee-shirt. I wonder what he was doing to start with, actually. And he has an enormous bruise on his stomach that he got on when he was batting down at Bristol last week. He said it was the first ball that he faced.
Right.
So he's still got the after effects of that as Anderson bowls to him again. He plays at that one and misses it. It flies through to Hurst. And the last 2 balls of that over were ominous from a Derbyshire perspective because, when Madsen managed to play them successfully, if playing and missing is playing them, but he's still there. He's on 44. Guest has 26. Derbyshire 149 for 3, and they've successfully negotiated 4 overs so far today. Only another 92 minimum to go.
Well, they got through a big chunk of last night, didn't they? It was a very important period that with it. Just to have 7 to come and work with today. I know it's one better than having 6, but it just feels a lot more, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's like 7 to get on the last day is quite a decent chunk of wickets to try and work your way through. So it was an important Madsen Guest partnership last night.
Well, they want 2 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and then whatever's left. 2 in the evening. That'll do it, wouldn't it? That'll do it. Couldn't be more straightforward. Puffin Billy, for those who haven't been listening to us all the time, the train in the background.
Bailey comes over the wicket and bowls. It's inside edge of Brooke Guest's bat. Deflects out towards the square leg. Umpire for a single. Guest moves on to 27. And the 150 comes up for Derbyshire. Yes, a little train making its way around the lake on the far side of the ground. probably a slightly generous description for the lake, but
I'm not saying anything.
I'm going for lake. That's the right description. There's Madsen clipped out towards the leg side. Uncle Jones at deep backward square leg fields.
When I first came here 10 years ago, I called it a pond and got absolutely hammered for it. So, yeah.
I think it probably is more of a... Right, okay.
How very dare you.
I had a mooch around there last night. It's not...
Oh, it's not huge, is it?
No, but it's a lovely little spot.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very pleasant place to, as we've been banging on about all week. But it's my first visit. I think it's a fabulous venue to watch cricket. It's left by Guest and through to the keeper. There's no run. It's lovely, and everyone's, as is often the case at county cricket grounds, but not always the case. Everyone is very, very welcoming.
Yes, nobody's said no yet, or you can't. They're all very helpful.
Yeah.
A lot of volunteers make these outground matches happen.
Bailey for Lancashire in balls. Nudged away to the leg side by Brooke Guest. Who's there? Luke Wells in at the mid-wicket. Yeah, Wells at mid-wicket. In fact, there's two mid-wickets. Wells is squarer of the two. Brian straighter and shorter of the two.
We had Nigel Mallander, who is the chairman of Chesterfield Cricket Club, on with us a couple of days ago, and he couldn't emphasise enough how important the volunteers are.
Bailey moves in balls. Guest pushes it into the offside up to Chris Green, who's at mid-off, and there's no run.
We're at ground level pretty much. There's a slight incline that we're sitting on, which is why I keep slipping down my chair. But the footmarks that Bailey is making there, the dark footmarks, just shows that there's a bit of dampness about, doesn't it? Because they haven't been in it. There's been a lot of dust, but I haven't noticed that before.
Bailey in from over the wicket, bowling forward goes Guest, pushing to Green, who's at mid-off, and there's no run. End of the over. Two singles coming off it. 151 for 3. Brooke Guest has 27, and Wayne Madsen is 45. Not out. Yeah, we had a little bit of light rain, didn't we, overnight? It didn't like tip it down, only just in the town centre, but it did rain a little. But you wouldn't really know it if you walk. I mean, I walked around the outfield this morning to go to the butty shop, and you wouldn't know it's been it rained.
The four that the Brooke Guest hit has been chased by George Balderson, and you thought, well, if there are any effects, we'll find out now, and it raced away to the cover boundary. So yeah, the new drainage that was put in a couple of years ago was certainly helping that, and the fact that the rain wasn't as heavy as it might have been, as Anderson begins a new over to Wayne Madsen, bottom hand taken off the bat as he drives it up to mid-on. Cup falls down a step. The Lancashire management to our left. Martin Emerson down at Surrey's obviously he's bored with what's happening at the Oval. He's just sent me a message. I gather I'm batting at Chesterfield ahead of Anna's Dole. That was Anderson, Martin Anderson. This one is played off the back foot out into the offside. And there's no run. Unless I did say Emerson, in which case I apologise. I don't remember saying that. No.
When was this, yesterday?
No, today. Still to come.
Oh, right.
Martin Anderson will be next.
No, I don't remember you saying Emerson.
No. Very rarely think of Martin.
He's forever in your thoughts, I'm sure. But it was his birthday the other day.
He doesn't look 50, does he? Here's Anderson in. Oh, strikes the pad. Anderson's fallen over again. That's at least the third time in this innings he's fallen over after delivering the ball, and just flexes his left knee. The ball's gone away for 4 leg byes down towards third man. The score's gone on to 155 for 3. There was an over yesterday when he fell over twice, was hit for 4 and bowled a no ball. That was blimey. There's a helicopter about to fly straight over the top of Queen's Park, which we believe is the first time that's ever happened in the James Anderson over. He's in again now, balls to Madsen. who pushes things back to Anderson. I'm glad a wicket didn't fall then. That would have been awful for the archive. Anderson, who's got 1 wicket so far in this innings, and it was sadly almost inevitably Caleb Jewell. His side's playing for the 2nd time this season, and Anderson has got Caleb Jewell 4 times now. The Australian, Tasmanian. Madsen, who got his high score against Lancashire in the first innings, went to 70. Defends that one back to Anderson, and he remains on 45. Previous high score in 10 innings was 29. For a man who's got thousands of runs against some counties, he didn't have an awful lot against Lancashire.
Yes, that was one of the most surprising stats of the week. I must have been dreaming of Wayne Madsen runs, because I thought every time he plays against Lancashire, he gets runs. Obviously not.
So this one, play and a miss there from Madsen. There's one that keeps low, goes through to the keeper. And, well, Wayne Madsen's got a bit of thinking to do after that. 155 for 3. Apparently I did say Martin Emerson.
Did you?
Well,
Didn't hear you say that at all. Shows how much attention I'm paying.
I think it'd be quite fun to see Martin Emerson facing Wayne Madsen. In all honesty, Jimmy Anderson, I think that would be good. I think we should try and set that up. Have you got some influence in that direction?
I definitely do not have any influence in any direction.
We had Blair Tickron in the T20 of the week, and I criticised somebody for dropping a catch, and he said, right, half-time, you're out there with me.
That's a fair response. There's Bailey in and balls. That's pushed up towards mid-off. Oh, towards cover, actually, and there's no run. Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fair response. I take it there's no chance of anything happening, is there, at the Oval? No. It's a delayed start for it.
That's why they're here.
Yeah.
That's why Martin's listening.
Oh, you got a message off him, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was...
Oh, yeah.
What's he doing here?
Sitting around drinking coffee.
I don't think he drinks coffee, does he?
No, I don't think he does that.
It's Bailey in and balls. Forward again. Goes guest, and there's no run.
I've asked for the audio evidence.
Yeah, I don't believe you said Martin. I honestly don't think you said Martin. This is I had a picture from the Oval sent to me this morning. They're obviously absolutely run off the feet there. People at the Oval.
Oh, yeah. Well, the old boy needs his sleep, though, doesn't he?
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. Very busy man. All those scores to read out every 4 hours.
Yeah, it's quite a demanding role to have. 155 for 3. Here's Bailey. 2 slips. There's short mid-wicket as well. Bailey in and bowling. Guest defends. Pushing forward. It might just have nibbled back in towards him. It deflects to mid-on where Anderson fields.
I also imagine that he hasn't had to cobble together all these wires just to get us on air. I don't think we'd pass the safety standards if anybody came down. Glad nobody from Chesterfield Council's been around here.
It's a good effort though, Fletch. Got everything all plugged in right. There's Bailey in bowls. Oh goodness. Right on cue, something happened. Pushed into the offside where Bathwick fields at cover. No wrong. It was a big bang, wasn't it?
Yes, the effects microphone sticking out in between a couple of bits of canvas, and when that gust of wind came along, it almost blew it away.
Right. Made me jump, I like that.
On my 2 bits of sticky tape.
I'm going to chat here. Bailey and Anderson and Green. Bailey's got 2 slip catches, backward point, cover, mid-off, mid-on. There's a short mid-wicket, the orthodox mid-wicket, and there's deep backward square leg as Bailey's in and bowling. Forward again goes Guest and defends. Deflects away to the leg side, and there's no run.
Bit of hope for Derbyshire. It's raining in Kent.
Right, is that on its way then? Is that?
Sure, I'm not sure if it'll get here in time.
Dear.
And that's delayed at Canterbury. It's also raining, as we just heard it, at the Oval and in York. Essex 33 for 3 against Yorkshire. Still 58 behind.
Bailey balls to Guest. Oh, that's a lovely shot. That's 4. Punched it through the offside. There's a short cover in place, and Chris Green leaping out to his right to try and stop it, but it's timed beautifully by Brooke Guest for 4 runs, and he moves to 31. 159 for 3 at the end of the over. So right, there's a bit of rain around then.
Well, to the north and to the south, but I don't think here.
In the middle, it's all right in the middle.
We're all right in the middle.
Okay.
I'm looking at the forecast here. They're claiming it might get up to 20 degrees later on.
Are they?
I see we got there sooner rather than later, in all honesty.
Gone for the shorts again, though. Did you notice that?
Yes.
I was tempted for the long trousers.
I've got long trousers with me as well.
As a backup.
I might go and get them from the car at lunchtime at this rate.
It's out the window of the hotel. I don't know. Could be a long trouser day. But no, Fletcher be in shorts. I'm going to be in shorts.
Here comes Anderson and bowls, and Madsen plays it into his pads. Ball dribbles out into the onside, and there is no run. It's certainly windier than it has been at any point previously. I don't know if these are miles per hour or what. Northwesterly.
Oh, right, okay.
Apparently, which we knew from the flag on the council building.
It's a lovely flag too.
28 miles an hour. No, it must be. It can't be. That's quite quick, isn't it? Here comes Anderson and bowls to Madsen, who clips this away into the leg side, and once it beats the fielder, it'll go for 4 runs, and it does beat the fielder. It's George Balderson who put the dive into his left-hand side, and it races away out towards the straight mid-wicket boundary for 4 more. Madsen moves to 49, 163 for 3. Thank you.
He's been busy this morning, hasn't he? Puffin.
Yeah. Although you say he's been busy, there's one person right in the back of the last carriage.
Private transport.
Yeah. One day I will have a go.
I'd love to have a go.
Anderson bowls, and Madsen turns this into the leg side, where it's fielded by Josh Bohannon. Balderson has stayed out on the cover boundary now. So Josh Bohannon, the only man close in on the leg side in front of the bat.
Yeah, as you said yesterday, you sit on the right-hand side, you get the lake view, don't you? And if you go around again, swap sides, and you get a view of the Portaloos.
It's beautiful. Sanderson is in, that's turned into the leg side by Madsen. He wants a single. There is one. There was always one, but they took a while to negotiate it, and the 150 comes up. No, it isn't. It's Wayne Madsen's 50. The captain, 50 in the first innings, 50 in the second innings. And it's 164 for 3. It's ticking down, the overs remain 89, including this one. We learned last week not to get too excited as Derbyshire chased 300 and something. At Bristol, they were 170 without loss. And then we're clinging on at the end. The draw with Gloucestershire. As Anderson bowls to Guest, who drives to Bailey out mid-on. I don't normally pack gloves for cricket.
It's not that cold,
It's a very cold hand.
Oh, right, okay.
Maybe a circulation thing, as much as anything. The Lancashire supporter away to our right at cover. So either that or Santa's had an early visit to Chesterfield as that one's pushed out into the offside. I've never seen anybody wearing so much red. That was the end of the over. 164 for 3, 50 to Madsen, 31 to Brooke.
Wayne Madsen's 50 came from 86 balls and included 8 fours.
Which is why I never announce things like that. We had Andy Warhol here yesterday.
We did, that was lovely.
Yeah, he was watching from just in front of the nets. It's amazing.
To bowl from the pavilion end,
please.
Jack Blatherwick.
What you see at an outground, when you're outdoors and at ground level, you can absorb it, can't you? The gentleman who seems to be asleep already under the tree, listening to the right.
It's having maybe a post-breakfast snooze. Maybe went to that butty shop and had a large bacon and egg and sausage combination that you demolished.
Yeah. Still got the pasties
I know.
for later on.
Did look good, actually.
Well, they're exceptional. We're not allowed to say the name of it, of course.
What, the butty shop?
Yeah, well, it's at the side of the park, so
Yeah,
you
you can't miss it.
could probably guess what it was called if you just swap those two words around.
Not open on Sunday, though.
No.
Missing out on a fortune. Here's Jack Blatherwick replacing Tom Bailey. And onto the pads of Wayne Madsen, and that's clipped down towards fine leg for a single. 51 to Madsen, 165 for 3. He's busy this morning. They're queuing out the door.
Really?
Yeah, there's probably at least 6 or 7 people in front of me. Timed it very well. I think it was some of the lads that did the live stream.
Oh, right.
They were in there first. It's a big order.
Just in for a salad.
Something with a hash brown in it, I think. There is Blatherwick, bowls again. Let's run down towards third man. And that would be 4 for Brooke Guest, and it's a no ball as well. Just overstepping Jack Blatherwick. Kicks the ground on his way back to his mark. 4 runs to Brooke Guest. He moves to 35, and the no ball pushes the score to 171 for 3, and it also brings up the Century Partnership as well.
Yeah, you're right. Good effort.
It is a good effort. Guest on 35 and Madsen on 51. Looks a little brighter as Blatherwick sets off and bowls once more. Full, another no ball. That's worked out towards the onside. Anderson with a pick up and throw towards the stumps. He's overstepped again as Jack Blatherwick. So again he scrapes the ground. He spikes and goes stomping back to his mark. 36 to Brooke Guest. A no ball and the single pushes the score to 174 for 3. He's limbering up at backward point. It's George Balderson twirling his arms around. Blatherwick in, bowls again. That's cut out through the offside. Madsen shuffles through for 1. Takes him to 52 not out, 175 for 3. Guest back on strike. 2 slips, backward point, cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. And then 2 on the leg side boundary, a deep square leg and a long leg. Here's Jack Blatherwick for Lancashire. He's in and bowling. Just back of a length and turned into the onside by Guest. Fielded at mid-wicket by Bohannon for no run. It looks like a double change. We've had Jimmy Anderson for 4 overs from the late game, but it looks like Balderson rather is going to come into the attack. Half an hour gone on the final day. And no alarms yet for Wayne Madsen or for Brooke Guest. Blatherwick over the wicket in bowls. Pushed away into the offside. Bailey's at cover to field. And there's no run. Umpires James Treadwell and Paul Baldwin just confirming to each other to confirm the number of deliveries that are remaining in the over. And they agree that it's 2 still to go.
Just got to stay patient up there, Lancashire, really. Not try and do anything that they haven't done already in this match. Bowled Derbyshire out the first time around for 261.
Blatherwick in. Defended by Brooke Guest mid-off, and there's no run. Yes, if they can try and squeeze 1 or 2 out before a second new ball comes, then that would be, I guess, ideal for them. So there's a lot of batting to do for Derbyshire today. With a solid start, though, this morning. Final ball of the over, a slightly longer one. The 2 new balls, no balls, rather. Driven away by Guest. It's come off the inner half of the bat, so it deflects out towards mid-wicket, and there's no run, so completes Blatherwick's first over of the day, 175 for 3.
Elsewhere in the First Division, Nottinghamshire bowled out for 509 in their first innings. Somerset 8 for 1. after 2 overs in their second innings, still 122 behind, so Notts won't have given up hope of getting something positive out of that game. Hampshire 101 for 3 following on against Worcestershire, still at 357 behind. It's now raining in Hove.
To bowl from the Lake End, George Balderson.
Thank you, where Warwickshire are 108 for 1. Northamptonshire against Kent at Canterbury, still raining. They're back on York. Essex 37 for 3 now, trailing Yorkshire by 54. And in the other game in the second division, Gloucestershire 44 for 1, still 104 behind Glamorgan at Sophia Gardens. Here, Derbyshire 175 for 3 in their second innings, still, well, it keeps putting on the computer, 338 to win, or 87 overs to survive. Lancashire needs 7 wickets. George, did they just look at the ball? George Balderson comes on. They've been looking at the ball on and off quite a lot. It wasn't changed.
No.
We had a first look at it in one of the innings after 17 overs. Seems a bit early. Madsen on 52. He's on strike. 36 to Brooke Guest at the non-strikers then. Balderson is in, and Madsen pushes the first delivery out into the offside, where it's fielded by Luke Wells. I would suggest that the worst of the weather has now gone, because if you look away to the west, blue sky in evidence. Away to the east,
yes,
horrible.
Oh,
and that's all gone.
Hey,
over the crooked spire.
Lovely spire it is too.
You can just about see through the trees. Balderson is in again. Madsen pushes this one into the onside. Bohannon gets his hand to it first, but he doesn't pick it up cleanly. And Chris Green has raced across the square, leapt over the pitch to have a chat with Luke Wells, and now he's gone back. Leapt over the pitch again.
He did, yeah.
Very
Spring
impressive.
lamp,
Oh,
wasn't it?
He's just windmilled his right arm, just in case. You never know. Madsen waits. His next delivery from Balderson keeps a bit low again, and Madsen clips it up towards Bohannon again. No heavy roller this morning. They must have used all their heavy roller allocation, just the light one. So this pitch is now changing naturally.
To keep a bit low, didn't it? A couple have, haven't they?
Yes, they have. One has popped. Don't mind that on day 4, though, do you? It's Balderson bowls full delivery, dug out by Madsen out towards Wells in the covers.
No, I mean, he's produced a good 4 days of cricket, hasn't it? It's
Been terrific.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even with, you know, the much talked about Kookaburra ball being used, it's not affected the quality of the contest.
It's been a better contest than last year's against Yorkshire here for Derbyshire, when they lost by an innings and 200.
Right.
That wasn't great. That's his next delivery, pushed into the offside by Madsen. It generally produces a result, though. I'm not sure we've seen it. In fact, I certainly haven't seen a game with a Kookaburra ball here. So you never quite know, do you? But always produces. There hasn't been a draw here since 2015. A few washouts, but no draws. There is Balderson again. Lake End. Madsen pushes it up to Tom Bailey. Doesn't have to move to pick that ball up. It's the final one of the over. Is that a maiden? It felt like a maiden.
It was.
It was a maiden. 175 for 3 then. 52 still to Wayne Madsen. 36 to Brooke Guest. 86 overs to go.
Maybe that's the key for the Kookaburra balls. Play them at outgrounds. We use a Kookaburra ball, but we insist on playing an outground. Best partnership of the innings. It might be the best partnership of the game for Derbyshire. There's potential. First innings partnerships. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Madsen Guest put on 78 in the first innings. So this is their best of the match so far. As Jack Blatherwick sets off to Brooke Guest. Plays off the front foot in defence, no run.
I'm looking for the highest partnership of the match now. Was it the one for the 8th wicket, the 106 between Keaton Jennings and Chris Green?
And what did they put on?
106.
Turner and Balderson yesterday put on 157.
Oh, well, that'll be bigger then.
That'll be the big one.
That's definitely bigger.
They scored pretty quickly yesterday, didn't they?
They certainly did.
Blatherwick into Guest. Worked away to square leg. There's 2 Lancashire fielders sweeping round, one to his left and one to his right, and it's Jones to his left from long leg that gets there first. Michael Jones throw in towards Matthew Hurst, and they've come back for 2. Yeah, the speed in which they were able to push their second innings score along, Lancashire. Well, basically, they were hanging on to see if Balderson could get to a century, weren't they? Because as soon as he got out for 82, they declared. But it's allowed them to have as much time as they possibly could muster at Derbyshire. Played back towards Blatherwick by Guest, and there's no run.
Well, we were thinking they'd probably go till 3 o'clock, and they pulled out a long time before that because of the rate at which they'd scored. I mean, they were almost in T20 mode at one point. They were smashing the ball to all parts. Derbyshire had spin on at one end, at both ends, because they had Mitch Wagstaff bowling his leg spin because their over rate was a little bit troublesome.
Blatherwick in again, balls forced away by Guest into the offside, and there's no run. Yes, he came on, didn't he? Because Andrew's dog got hit by the ball when he was fielding, so he had to go off. And to draft it in quickly was Wagstaff, and they stuck with him, didn't they, for quite a lengthy spell.
All the wickets that have fallen, only 3 have gone to spinners, 2 for Chris Green and 1 to Wagstaff, and that was caught on the boundary.
177 for 3. Blatherwick for Lancashire comes in, bowls, and it's left by Guest. Through to Hurst, no run.
And there was a school of thought a couple of years ago, probably last year, that the pitch here at Chesterfield would turn because there was talk. I mean, Mark Watt played a first-class match here, the Scotland International, and there was talk of Samit Patel playing in a first-class match because of his spin. He didn't. Well, he is here today. He's had a little knock today.
Head of the blast.
Yeah.
There's a Blatherwick balls. Guest pushes up towards mid-off, and there's no run. End of the over. Just 2 coming off it. 177 for 3. Yeah, these 2 sides meet on Saturday at Old Trafford.
Can't say how much I'm looking forward to it. I enjoy going to Old Trafford, but Derbyshire's blast has been quite frankly disastrous. 2 wins, 1 more defeat in the last 6 matches, and that'll be curtains. Could be over by Saturday tea time. It's Yorkshire here on Saturday in the wooden spoon battle. There's Balderson into bowl to Madsen, who pushes that into the onside. It's fielded by Bohannon, and there's no run.
Yeah, the Yorkies have had a bit of a stinker, haven't they?
Yeah, it's the only consolation I've got.
Lancashire still have Yorkshire in the blast to play home and away.
Oh, well, there's 8 points.
Yeah, second bottom, isn't it, the Yorkshire? And the Derbyshire bottom.
All right.
Sorry.
Balderson falls to Madsen, who pushes that to the offside. Luke Wells fields. Yeah, we know where we are.
Why is it 4 points for a win? Do we have any idea why it's 4 points for a win?
I believe to bring it into line with the women's blast, who get 4 points for a win.
Right.
And they couldn't change the women's points tally because they still have a bonus point, don't they?
They do, yeah.
For
winning quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the right phrase.
Yeah. This next one is driven into the ground by Madsen and down the ground. He got half a hand to it there, Balderson, but it's raced away down the hill for 4 runs out to the long off boundary, and Madsen moves on to 56 now, 181 for 3, even though it says Guest on the board, it was definitely Wayne Madsen. The board will catch up in a few minutes' time, we'll be all right. Just occasionally the runs are on there before you can even blink, and sometimes not so much. As Balderson was pretty much into his delivery stride there when Wayne Madsen spotted something that he didn't like halfway down the pitch and has gone to remove it. So Balderson has to turn around and go back to the top of his mark. Members in the members section away to our left-hand side today, but the bank is sparsely populated as Madsen, full delivery from Balderson, drives it out to James Anderson at wide mid-off, very much off the toe end of the bat, but successfully kept it out. Very optimistic 2 ice cream vans here today. And surprisingly, nobody queuing.
No.
They might do later if the sun does come out and we do get to 20 degrees. As Balderson bowls, and Anderson pushes it up to mid-on.
Yes.
And there's no run. Corporate push seats to our right not being used really today, just 3 members of the Derbyshire board. Carl and the chairman is there. There's Gillet.
See, the burgers and fries and the bar van are all shut up, aren't they?
Yeah.
Many people expecting a 4th day of this game.
There's Balderson bowls to Madsen. That one is defended. I wasn't expecting a 4th day to this game, if I'm entirely honest with you. Yeah, I think only the most optimistic felt this game would go into 4 days, not just because of the way it's panned out, but games tend to move on quickly here. Yeah, 4th day at Chesterfield. There's a thing. 1-7. No, it isn't. It's 1. The score, but everything's wrong at the moment, I'm sure. I think it's 181 for 3 with Madsen on 56 after that boundary, because he got his 50 a lot earlier. And he's hit a 4 since then. Guest has 38. The scoreboard is not right. Yes, one of the websites here says 181 for 3, and I'm going to believe that.
I'm sure it'll all catch up in its own time.
It's sort of a remote control job, isn't it? Because
Right.
the man who operates the scoreboard is with the scorers away to our left, and the scoreboard is away to our right. Sun's out.
Lovely.
Luke Wells been told to move from deep backward square leg. He's going to love this. Deep backward square leg. Is he going into leg slip or is he going to the offside? Yeah, no, he's still going. He stopped.
Still going.
Perhaps just for a rest. He must have run 100 yards there. He's gone into gully. Look at that.
Yes, to 2 slips and a gully. Point drops out. Let's run through the offside, just behind square for a single for Brooke Guest. The scoreboard's up to date. Guest moves to 39, 182 for 3. Yeah, they just dropped a point back to the boundary. And they've got, see, just a little behind square. There's a deep backward square leg. Oh, but I think that's go. No, we're changing again. Oh, Wells on the run again. Where's Wells going now? Getting his steps in here.
Exhausted, the lad.
He's gone from deep square leg to gully. Now he's gone from gully to mid-wicket. He's all over the place. But Hannon's dropped down to square leg, and point comes up. So there's a backward point cover mid-off as well. And that's flashed away off the pads by Madsen. We're going to go change again, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, out towards backward square leg for a single. So Wells, it goes from mid-wicket back to gully. Point drops back to the boundary. Square leg comes up to mid-wicket.
+2 on the over, right, aren't they? So
Yeah,
they can pretty much do as they please.
183 for 3. Madsen 57. It brings Brooke Guest back on strike. 39 not out. Works that away into the onside. Bohannon's at mid-wicket to field. There's no addition to the score. Oh, there's someone at the ice cream van. I like that. It's a bold move, is that?
As soon as the sun came out, right?
Yeah.
Time for an ice cream.
I reckon he's walked up there and said, "Do you sell coffee?" 2 slips, Gully. Blatherwick in bowls. Runs for Guest. Again to the leg side, turns and hurries back for 2. Throw comes in towards Hurst from Michael Jones, and 2 more to Brooke Guest. He moves on to 41. 185 for 3. That's Blatherwick from the pavilion end. Is on his way again past the umpire to Guest. Leans forward and defends to mid-on. In addition to the score. I don't see that chap from the ice cream van leaving with an ice cream.
No, he's just walking past the conveniences there in his tracksuit top. It doesn't look like he's got an ice cream to me. He's got something in his left hand. One of those hand warmers.
Yes, he's doing a side hustle as the ice cream vendor, covering for all seasons. Crazy catch as that clipped away down the leg side beyond the reach of Hurst. And down towards the boundary for 4 runs. To conclude the over as well, that 189 for 3 at the end of it. Guest 45 and Madsen is on 57. And, well, 50 minutes in, and nothing to be too alarmed about so far for Brooke Guest and for Wayne Madsen. Just, I mean, the odd one has kept a little low. We've seen one that's popped up. That's all been off Jimmy's bowling. I think actually, no, Balderson got one to keep a little low, didn't he? But they've dealt with that and progressing nicely enough.
The ones that have misbehaved have pretty much been from the lake end, haven't they? So Balderson comes up that hill now and bowls to Madsen, who whips it into the leg side straight to Chris Green. One of 2 numberless Lancashire players out there. He's got a sweater on without a number. Ashton Turner is just not wearing a shirt with a number on. Perhaps he didn't have a long sleeve with a number.
I think it could be that. It's a long sleeve type of day if you're from Australia.
I'll say. So Madsen struck on the pad, big appeal. Umpire Treadwell just pops a little pebble in his pocket.
Well, he trapped him LBW in the first innings, did George Balderson. And they've got similar plans in place with 2 slips, a short mid-wicket, keeper standing up, Balderson over the wicket, targeting the pads, but that looks like that's heading down the leg side.
I can't remember which of the umpires it was, so I don't remember who they were, but down at Bristol, as Balderson is in, and Madsen defends this into the onside. Bohannon does the fielding. There was a huge appeal for leg before wicket, and he raised his hand and scratched his nose and put his hand in his pocket. It was
cruel.
It was outrageous, absolutely outrageous. Scratched his nose.
Don't need that.
I mean, Ed Seaborn's not known for his overexcitement
No.
at times like that, but even he was furious. Bowls, that one's whipped away by Wayne Madsen. There's a man out on the square leg boundary. I think it's Blatherwick. And they go through for another single. He moves to 58, 190 for 3. I mean, I would love to have done that, but not out in the professional field. That was terrible. Umpire Treadwell merely popped a pebble in his pocket. Still 2 slips. There are 3 men on the leg side in front of the bat. As Guest defends it up to one of those. That's the mid-on, who is Tom Bailey. Josh Bohannon is at straightish mid-wicket, and then Chris Green just to his right. So he's going to bowl pretty straight, especially since his offside is backward point, a cover, and a mid-off who are all reasonably close in as this next delivery is driven out into the offside and straight to the middle of those fielders. Luke Wells on the offside, and the over comes to an end. 82 to go. 190 for 3, 58 to Wayne Madsen, 45 to Brooke Guest. I was asked the question last night, but it's more of a statement really, and they said, well, of course, if they are batting at 6 o'clock, they'll probably win the game. I just think 374 runs in a day, and I know you've poo-pooed my pessimism, but it seems a lot.
Well, it is.
Well, yes, that's why it seems a lot, because it is a lot. No, but you know what I mean.
I do. It was sharp out of the wicket and balls to Wayne Madsen. Yeah, it's defended to mid-off, and there's no run. Blatherwick starts a fresh over. It's like Lancashire's interim head coach. He's going to have a little look out towards Puffin Billy. He's heading out towards the far side of the ground. Stephen Croft. A little mooch around. Blatherwick. He's in and bowling. He's played that away safely off the back foot to cover.
You know, you're going to buy your partner or get your partner a birthday present, or a nice gold ring or a nice watch, or something expensive like that. Ian Crooks is making his girlfriend Elizabeth listen to the stream before setting off for the Lake District. I don't normally do requests because it's very lazy radio, but happy birthday, Elizabeth. That's outrageous. Sort it out, Ian.
Blatherwick over the wicket, balls again defended by Madsen. There's no run.
Ian's a regular contributor. I didn't realise that he didn't stretch to more than just an hour on the stream. That'll do you. Happy birthday.
And then to the Lakes.
Yeah, that's quite nice. Might be a bit damp.
190 for 3. Jack Blatherwick is bowling, and that's played up towards mid-on by Wayne Madsen, where James Anderson fields.
You do well there.
Yeah.
Will Williams, is it? Just popped up from behind the advertising
I
board.
didn't even know he was there.
Right in your line of sight. That was excellent.
I couldn't see the top of his head, and he just, like Jack in a box, wasn't it? Will in a box, just pops up. Every now and again when you're least expecting it. Will Williams springs up in front of you. 190 for 3. Bohannon shuffling a little closer at mid-wicket. His hands on his knees, bending forward and watching as Blatherwick is over the wicket and bowling to Madsen. Play back from where it came from. And Anderson comes round to his left from mid-on to field. There's no run. Wonder who else is hiding behind the advertising board.
I can only see one. There must be somebody else, because it looks like he's talking to someone. George Bell would be shorter than Will Williams, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
is it George who's with it? No, George is behind. No, he's behind us.
Right. I look forward to this next surprise. Blatherwick sets off again, bowls, Madsen defends. And there's no run. That's the end of the over. We've had an hour of play on the final day. Lancashire probing away, looking for their first breakthrough of the day, and it's time for off spin, it would appear, because George Bell's fetching out some protective gear, a helmet and a couple of pads. Williams is trotting on as well. He's off to help out.
Tom Bailey's coming off. I think he's just decided that George Bell can stay on. Keaton Jennings has gone the whole hog this time. He's actually removed one of his legs entirely from his trousers.
Good work, Keaton.
To put the protective gear on. Either good work or slightly disturbing. So there'll be a slight hiatus here at Queen's Park.
Lovely pair of socks he's wearing there as well.
Yeah. everything looked nicely washed. Gloucestershire are 56 for 2. To Cardiff still trailing by 92. They're still off for the rain at they are off for rain at Canterbury. Can't imagine there's going to be a result in that game unless something remarkable happens. Still raining at Hove. They're due to start around about now at the Oval. So at long last, Martin Emerson and co will have to do some work. Essex now 40 for 4 at York and still 51 behind. So Yorkshire won't have given up hope of a victory up there. Never been to York. I believe it's very nice. I've been to York, but not to the ground. Somerset 54 for 3 against Notts, still trailing by 76. Hampshire 117 for 3, still trailing Worcestershire by 41 rather. They're following on. So some of the games that look like they might not have an awful lot, if the weather stays reasonably good, there might well be some exciting finishes. Here, 190 for 3, and Chris Green bowling to Brooke Guest, who pushes this out into the offside with the full face of the bat, despite what you might have heard in the background. And they go through for a single. Guest moves on to 46, 191. They've added 52 so far this morning of Derbyshire's overnight pair. So they need about 120 a session for this. Would be a ridiculous run chase. I still don't think that that's a possibility. Lancashire remain firm favourites, but Derbyshire battling hard here as Green is in, and that one is pushed back towards him by Wayne Madsen. It bounces just to his left, which means he can't get a hand on it. There's no run. A slip and a short leg. A man round the corner, backward square leg. A man on the mid-wicket boundary, a mid-wicket closer in, as Green is on his way in and bowls to Madsen, who clips this one into the leg side. There'll be another single there. Madsen will move to 59. And Derbyshire to 192 for 3. Brooke Guest back onto strike, 46 not out. In comes Green, and Guest, who was very watchful. He's only faced 20 balls fewer than Wayne Madsen. He's on 46, Madsen on 59. Updates coming up as Green bowls, and Guest plays that into the ground to short leg. I've yet to hear the cue in my ears. Green. Short, straight runner comes in, arm bowls, and that one is turned into the leg side again by Brooke Guest, and there is no run. I haven't done mine here. 192 for 3 at the end of the over. I've got a nasty feeling they've forgotten me. 59 to Wayne Madsen, 46 to Brooke Guest. That's what happens when you go to the north of the county. They just forget you even exist. It's a bit of an anomaly, really, Chesterfield, in radio terms, for those interested, because they fall in Radio Sheffield's transmission area. So we don't, the Radio Derby cover Chesterfield Football Club. That's Radio Sheffield's territory. But Derbyshire playing in Chesterfield very much falls to me. I'm going to say that they've forgotten me, and you just carry on. Suddenly, because you can't hear them, can you?
No. Give me a wave.
Give you a punch.
Gladwick in. That's a lovely shot off the back foot by Madsen to mid off, but there's no run. I thought wave was slightly more gentle than a punch. A gentle wave.
Yes, a wave would have been better, wouldn't it? Sorry.
Punch seems a bit harsh.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe a clip round the back of the head. I'll take that one. 9-2 for 3. Madsen 59. Blathwick. Past the umpire. Short and pulled away down towards backward square leg. Can Wells get to it? He can't. Can Jones get to it? He can't. And it's 4 more for Watson, for Madsen. He moves to 63. 9-6 for 3. Oh dear, it's gone into Green's dip, I think. It has.
Oh no.
Luke Wells has disappeared. Oh, he's back. That was quick.
Yes, never looked into the dip.
No, right.
But people do disappear for quite lengthy periods of time down there.
Oh, sharp then. Sharp work from Wells. That dip will get a bit of action on Sunday, won't it?
Yes, yeah. And we're playing, I think, 2 pitches closer to it as well. There's one that was being prepared this morning.
Okay.
So, yeah.
The dip's in danger.
Dip-tastic.
Will be short, straight, mid-off. 2 short mid-wickets. It's pushed away off the front foot to Jennings, who's in that close position on the offside. So the field now, Lancashire have set. Got themselves 1 slip, backward point, cover, and then mid-off. And then Jennings at short, straight mid-off. He's maybe a couple of yards away from the cut strip on the offside. 2 short mid-wickets as well. And then 2 on the leg side boundary, behind square. It's worked out to mid-wicket where Bohannon fields, and there's no run. Yeah, deep backward square and long leg. Means what Lancashire have set. Trees just starting to bustle around a little bit. Breeze has picked up again. Quite strong breeze now. You can see on the flag on the council building on the far side. The other side of the road, though, isn't it? It's quite decent way off. Bowlers, Blatherwick in. That's worked away into the onside by Madsen for 1. So he moves on to 64 and the score to 197 for 3. Brooke Guest on strike. Slightly different field to Guest, so they've dispensed of that short, straight mid-off fielder. And they've also got rid of 1 boundary rider on the leg side. So they've gone back to the 2 slips in the gully for Brooke Guest. There's Jack Blatherwick over the wicket and bowls, and Guest calmly plays that away into the offside where George Bell's fielding, only for the time being, because Bell's going to pick that up, hand the ball to Chris Green, and then shuffle off because Tom Bailey's about to come back onto the field. 197 for 3 at the end of the over. Madsen 64 and Brooke Guest on 46.
The S&C was also hiding behind the
Oh,
advertising
it's Tom
boards.
Webster.
Yeah, Tom's shorter of stature, though, isn't he? So you're unlikely to see the top of his head.
We knew there was somebody else down there.
Yeah, there was always definitely somebody else. Chris Green's going to continue from the lake end at 197 for 3, 64 to Madsen, 46 to Brooke Guest, and it will be Madsen on strike. Sun shining brightly in North Derbyshire as Green is in and Madsen goes back, pushes it up to the newly returned Tom Bailey at mid-on. Short leg and a slip. The close catches as Green bowls and Madsen gets the outside half of the bat on a drive as it goes out to the backward point region where Michael Jones does the fielding. Madsen moves to 65 with a single, 198 for 3. Up again quite considerably as Madsen is trapped. Is he leg before wicket? He is. He's been given. Chris Green strikes. In fact, it's Brooke Guest, isn't it, who punches his pad. He's furious with himself, and Brooke Guest goes for 46, and Derbyshire are 198 for 4 now.
Broadcast was LBW off the bowling of Chris Green for 46.
There's a long way to go till the end of the day's play for Derbyshire to survive now. Martin Emerson comes out to bat. Oh no, it's Martin Anderson as Brookguest goes for 46. The 4th wicket to fall to spin in the match, and the 3rd taken by Chris Green.
Yeah, he's pretty gutted at that, isn't he, Brookguest? He's carrying his bat in the manner that would indicate that he isn't happy with life at the minute. It's a good knock, though. He batted really well last night.
Furious with himself as much as anything, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he got...
Incoming batter, Martin Anderson.
Yeah.
Did she say Martin Emerson then? No. Nobody said it.
But he's done a very fine job last night and for the first hour this morning, but yeah, he clearly miffed on 46. He's not able to go on and take it on.
127 runs, the partnership. An hour and 10 minutes this morning. If everybody can last an hour and 10 minutes, then Derbyshire won't be far away from survival. It is asking a lot, though.
Yes, well, these are the 2 batters that top scored, aren't they, in the first innings? Now, Wayne Madsen made 70 and Martin Anderson making 79 in the first innings. And he comes out to bat on the back of Derbyshire's best partnership of the game as well. So, but Lancashire should have been kind of anxious at this stage. Obviously, there's loads of time left in the day, but an hour into it, no breakthroughs. Just starting to play on the mind a little bit. But Green's found a way to break the partnership.
So Anderson's now got a leg slip as well as a slip. James Anderson has put himself in a leg slip. He gets one that bounces, turns it nicely into the leg side. Keaton Jennings at short leg and Luke Wells at slip. In addition to Anderson, James, that is. Close to the bat from Martin Anderson. Anderson waits. Green's next delivery clips it into the leg side. Oohs and ahs. Firmly off the face of the bat towards Josh Bohannon at mid-wicket. Wayne Madsen again sees some debris that he's not happy with on the pitch and goes down the track to remove it. Martin Anderson settles over his bat. Green bowls to him, but he pushes this one out into the offside. Martin Anderson safely negotiating the remainder of that over. 1 run did come from it, but also the wicket of Brookguest for 46. And Derbyshire are now 198 for 4. Lancashire needs 6 more wickets. Derbyshire will then probably need to bat for 78 overs because they still require 315. It what would be the most astonishing run chase possibly in the entire history of the cricket that I've watched.
To bowl from the pavilion end, George Balderson.
I don't know what the largest successful run chase in history is, actually. I didn't bother to look it up.
No, oh dear. I wonder where that would where it would rank in that. What in kind of in first class cricket in general, or just county championship? Or?
No, I'll go first class.
Okay. Bowling change sees George Balderson replacing Jack Blatherwick. When Madsen's on strike, they're going to have a keeper stood up. And a couple of slips waiting to pounce, and a short mid-wicket as well. Here is Balderson to Madsen. From the pavilion end for the first time. That's clipped out towards the leg side where Bohannon fields.
I have an answer for you.
Oh, okay.
The largest successful run chase in first-class history was in the Duleep Trophy, West Zone against South Zone. They chased 541 for 7. the previous record was 513 for 9 in 2004, which is what Derbyshire have to get.
Balderson to Madsen, who gets in behind it and defends, no run. Right, so it would be joint
Second highest successful run chasing in first-class cricket, according to this. That was Central Province against the Southern Province. I'm very much a Western Province man myself, but that's why I didn't know it.
Quite.
Such prosaic names.
198 for 4. Here's Balderson. A bit of sunshine coming through. He's in and bowling to Madsen. He's playing at that, and the ball just slides on past the edge of the bat. He's probing around looking for that. Is Balderson looking for the little inside edge, outside edge, or one that comes back and traps him on the pad, or maybe just clips the top of off if he misjudges the line. He's just going to be flirting around outside, off stump. And the keeper stood up and probing away. Balderson in to Madsen. It's a nice looking shot. Look at the pace of that.
Yeah,
It's a terrific piece of fielding too by Michael Jones. Absolutely sped out towards the boundary, but it's a fabulous piece of work by Jones. He's sprinted, must be 30 yards or more from behind square on the leg side to deep mid-wicket, and then puts the dive in. That's a fabulous piece of fielding. Couple for Madsen. It brings up the 200, that, for Derbyshire. In the second innings, 200 for 4. It's played up towards mid-off off the front foot by Wayne Madsen. Nice looking punch drive, but in addition to the score.
So Martin Anderson's home ground, Queen's Park.
Oh, okay.
It's on the books at Chesterfield in the Derbyshire Premier League.
Take it he's played here for Derbyshire before.
No.
Oh, right.
No, he only signed last... He was on loan last season, but he didn't arrive in time.
Right. Oh, well, that's...
He may have played in that game for Middlesex a couple of years ago. I'll have to check.
Balderson's in to Madsen. That's defended to mid-on. So no run. End of the over. 200 for 4, Derbyshire. With Anderson yet to... has he faced a delivery? I think he has, actually, has he? He's on naught, certainly, and Wayne Madsen's on 67.
He had one game on loan back in 2018, I think it was. I'd be surprised if it was here. Martin Anderson. Let's try and check. How on earth I will check, I've no idea.
No, I wish you all the best with that.
Yeah. I haven't started, if I'm entirely honest.
Yes, I'm sure you are.
Settles over his bat now, though. Chris Green is on his way in, and Anderson goes back, pushes the ball into the ground. At the end of last season, he played one game, and that was at Leicester. Not quite Chesterfield. Played a home game for Middlesex against Derbyshire twice. As Green is in, and that one is turned backward of square on the leg side by Anderson. He fancies 2 here, and he's going to get 2 as well as James Anderson chases the ball down towards long leg from leg slip. So he's off the mark with a couple. 202 for 4. His game on loan for Derbyshire in 2018 was at the Couch Ground in Derby. I don't think he's played here before. He hasn't played much for Chesterfield, in all honesty, because he's had such a successful time since arriving at Derbyshire from Middlesex. His next delivery is turned into the leg side by Anderson for a single. He'll move on to 3. Their other county pro is Chesterfield-born Ben Slater.
Okay.
Again, Ben has a very successful time of it this season with Nottinghamshire, so formerly of Derbyshire. As in comes Green again, Madsen. with that very distinctive style of his, drives it up to mid-on. Matt Critchley used to play here as well before moving to Essex. Somebody's got a leaf blower out. That's good news. As Green bowls to Manson, who gets a long way forward to defend it back to the Australian. 203 for 4, 3 to Anderson, 67 to Manson. A combination of Puffin Billy and a leaf blower. All we need is Jane to announce something and just put our feet up for 5 minutes. How irritating is that noise? Manson pushes the ball out into the offside. It's fielded by Michael Jones, who's as close to the bat there as he has been for the entire innings. And the over comes to an end. 203 for 7, 67 to Manson, 3 to Anderson. Derbyshire, only 76 overs to bat now. But there are 76 overs for Lancashire to pick up the remaining 6 wickets they need. James Anderson has had enough of the leaf blower and he's leaving the field as well now. He's got to get the earbuds.
He was still directing traffic, wasn't he? He was jogging off and pointing here and pointing there. You stand there, you do that. Just as he was jogging off. A smile on his face as he was doing it. So we've got Will Williams, haven't we? Now, I presume. I can't see George Bell out there. In fact, George Bell's at the back of us here. So, yeah, Will Williams is on the as a 12th man. Bolderson in forward. Goes Anderson in defence, and there's no run.
He does tend to thrust the bat a bit, Martin. I mean, he's a very high-class player. A couple of centuries, 70 in the first innings, a couple of centuries this season. That's me telling a batter about his technique again.
Just the way. It's an observation, isn't it?
Stop doing that.
Balderson to Anderson. That's a lovely ball. Was that just nicked off?
He's bowled him.
Oh, he's bowled him. Yes, he has. A stuff stump is leaning backwards, and Balderson gets one to sneak through, dismissing Martin Anderson.
Martin Anderson was bowled by George
Yeah,
Balderson.
just clip the top of off stump. It's a really lovely piece of bowling. Mention the approach that Balderson's had this morning, targeting the pads, targeting off stump, just in and around it, with the keeper stood up, and he strikes one that gets through Martin Anderson and just kisses the top of off stump. And Lancashire get their second wicket of the morning. And it's Anderson who departs 4-3.
Yeah, big blow that. Losing Martin Anderson. Anisdale next, all-rounder. Can bat. Hasn't scored a huge number of runs this season. Anisdale, capable, no question about it. But, this season,
Incoming
just
batter,
180 runs at
Anisdale.
22. Yet to get a half century. Was in the middle when they managed to creep over the line for the draw against Gloucestershire last week. Previous seasons has been more successful. What can he do here with Wayne Madsen? Nick Potts acting as 12th man for Derbyshire today, taking on the drink for Wayne Madsen, but that is a big blow. Big blow. And 2 in relatively quick succession as well, within 12 minutes of each other. And while the captain was off the field.
Yes, it was something that was certainly you could say about the Derbyshire first innings, albeit it lacked substantial partnerships in terms of the number of runs scored. They were able to at least stop for most of that first innings, kind of back-to-back wickets falling. They managed to get partnerships developing. Lost a couple of quick ones here. No ballers. Balderson sends this one down to Anisdale. Score moves on to 205 for 5.
That is George Balderson's 8th no ball of the match.
Balls is left this time by Dahl. And through to the keeper, who's standing up behind the stumps. Two slips, a short straight mid-on. Cover's just creeped a little bit nearer. There's a short mid-wicket. There's a wide mid-on. There's a deep square leg, backward point and a mid-off. Balderson to Dahl, who's off the front foot and defends. Deflects up towards green at mid-off for no run.
Six, 7 here, lads. Why not A?
I've picked up 2 so far in that pursuit. Balderson to Dahl. That's nudged out towards the leg side. There's no run.
Can't help themselves, cricketers, can they? At any level. You hear it everywhere on Saturday afternoon up and down the country.
Mid-off's creeped up as well now, so there are 2 short covers as well as 2 short mid-wickets. Defended by Dahl as Balderson continues to probe away. It's an excellent over from George Balderson. He has fulfilled the plans pretty much to perfection there. 205 for 5 at the end of the over. Dahl is on 0. Madsen is on 67, which is the we've got 68 overs gone of that Derbyshire second innings. So yeah, good work from Balderson. Yeah, prize 2 out after a good first hour for the home side.
He's got an umbrella up down in the next to the scoreboard, but I have no idea why. No sign of rain. It's more likely to take off than protect you. This wind. And Chris Green to continue. Wickets falling relatively quickly in quick succession here. 2 of them. There's Madsen. Tickles that one away down towards fine leg. It will be cut off by Will Williams. And Madsen moves on to 68, 206 for 5. So those trees on the far side of the ground really are blowing. Well, they're not blowing, bending in the wind. Very open, as you might expect with it being a park. As Green bowls to Dahl, who defends that one into the offside. And there is no run. Back on at Canterbury, almost pointlessly. People praying for rain down there. As it comes Green and bowls to Dahl, who gets forward and kills the ball, much like that FX microphone. Oh dear, I might have to do something about that in a minute. Looks like it's
wonky angle.
It's taking a bit of a buffeting at the moment.
Good use of the tape, though. I'm impressed with your
Did you
tape.
like that?
Yeah.
So slightly inadequate. That's been there for the entire 4 days.
Has it?
That one bit of tape.
I just noticed.
Comes down. A Green pushed into the ground, into the leg side by Dahl and fielded by Jennings. I say pointlessly because Northamptonshire continued to bat 676 for 6, leading by 110. I'd declare, mind you, I'm not there. Dahl pushes this next one back to Chris Green. 206 for 5 here. Gloucestershire 81 for 2, trailing by 67 at Sapphire Gardens. It's raining at York again. 648 for 6 though, trailing by 43. They'll be hanging around there for as long as they can. Yorkshire scenting a victory, an unlikely victory, I think it's fair to say, given the first inning scores in that game in the First Division. As Green He's in, bowls to Dahl, who pushes this out into the offside. And there's no run, 206 for 5 at the end of the over. James Anderson is returning when Madsen has 68. Dahl yet to get off the mark. Somerset 3 down, trailing by 48 to Notts. It's raining at home, where it has been for most of the day, it seems. They're on at the Oval. Again, I'm not sure why. Durham are 362 for 9 now, so they might not avoid the follow-on. They're still 458 behind at the follow-on target. What did we say? It was 670
something now.
I might just do something about that. If you don't mind.
No, you do what you need to do. Here is Balderson and bowling to Madsen, who's off the back foot. And to push it away to the offside. And there's no run.
Just a touch.
Fletch is applying some additional sticky tape. Balderson again. Madsen taking his bottom hand off the bat and looking right at the toe end of it. That deflects down towards green at mid-off, and there's no run. Remains on 68, not out. Derbyshire captain. 206 for 5. 3 catching mid-wickets in place. He's played to one of them, the straighter of the two, which is James Anderson, who does really well to hop over Anu's Dahl at the non-striker's end. He went to go and collect the ball. He got the ball. He had to kind of leap over Dahl to make sure he didn't do any damage. So Anderson, Barnon and Wells are the 3 short catching mid-wickets. It's punched away in the air, but safe enough through the offside by Madsen for a single. Takes him to 69 not out. 207 for 5. So Anu's Dahl is on strike. Nothing changing for the field. Keeper stood up, a couple of slips. Actually, I say that it's not entirely true. The field is changing a little bit because they're going to bring Tom Bailey into a short cover position. Also, Point coming up as well. Just adjusted the offside a little bit. Balderson sets off. Oh, it's got the inner half of the bat, maybe even the inside edge potentially. It's a little thin, runs away behind square on the leg side. Dahl comes back for 2. His first run's 209 for 5. Balderson 2 for 33. He's picked up 6 so far in the match to go with his best score of the season with the bat. And deflects out towards the leg side again, just in front of square by Dahl, but it's like Balderson's just getting that ball to come back in towards Anu's Dahl and take the kind of inner half of the bat. It's the end of the over. Single takes the score to 210 for 5. Dahl on 3 and Madsen on 69. 70 overs gone, so yeah, a new ball is going to be due when, just after lunch, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I thought so. Could be decisive. The Brains Trust go, the Lancashire Brains Trust go for a wander. Chris Green on his way into bowl to Dahl, who clips this into the leg side. It actually hits Keaton Jennings. He has no idea where it's gone. Holds his arms wide out. Where's that?
Mm.
And comes Green again and bowls. That one's striking the pad of Dahl. Back pad almost, into the front pad and then towards the stumps. not necessarily ideal. Didn't have enough on it to get all the way through to the Timbers. 210 for 5 it remains. That bit of tape I put on didn't work then. Pointless. It worked very briefly. Here comes Green, bowls to Dahl, who pushes this one out. I thought it was a terrific idea as well. I'll fasten the flap down. Tom might be able to help me out. Yeah. It's just come adrift again. That's very kind of you. I'll just buff it in the touch. 210 for 5. There's no point in asking Stephen because it's 4 foot in the air. This is Deck's delivery from Chris Green. It's clipped into the leg side by Dahl. It forces a misfield, actually, and this is running away towards the boundary now. Tom Bailey got down, didn't get it, and it's gone all the way for 4. That's remarkable. He barely flicked that. Bailey seems to have it under control. And away it went down the hill, of course, towards the lake. And 4 runs to Anuj Dahl, who moves on to 7, 214 for 5. Not that it'll have a huge bearing on the eventual outcome of this game, but welcome runs for Anuj Dahl. Chris Green won't be happy. 1 for 22 his figures now as he bowls to Dahl. That seemed a little bit quicker, and Dahl slightly hurriedly plays it up towards Bailey. The sun is making it look like it's warm. I'm sure it probably is, actually. You can imagine 3 weeks ago we'd have probably said, this is glorious. This was a bikini on. Unbelievable, but it just feels cold.
Just compared to...
It's tall, Bill Williams, isn't he?
Aye.
Green comes into bowl, Dahl chops it down backward of square on the offside and pinches the strike with a single. He moves on to 8. Wayne Mountain has 69. Derbyshire 215 for 5 now with just under 25 minutes to go until the lunch interval. A clatter of wickets might delay that, of course. As we saw yesterday with T down at Grace Road. It was delayed because Leicestershire were very close to defeat. They clung on for a while. Eventually losing for the first time this season. It looks as though the only team in the country at the end of this round of matches not to lose a game will be Surrey, which is something that you could have bet on at the start of the season, as opposed to Leicestershire and Derbyshire being the top 2 teams in Division 2, which I don't think anybody foresaw.
Balderson starts again. Forward goes Dahl in defence, and there's no run. Yes, for Derbyshire to be unbeaten. Surrey, the only side, should Derbyshire lose, to have that unbeaten record. Lancashire have yet to win, of course, as well. I think they're the only team in the country yet to win a game. Driven slightly awkwardly for Bailey. He does ever so well. That's taken a couple of bobbles in front of him. Managed to stop it. And there's no run. .215 for 5. One of the 3 short mid-wickets, isn't it? So there's a W appeal there by Balderson as Dahl looks to whip it away to the leg side. Not out, says umpire Paul Baldwin. Yeah, we've got a catcher under the helmet. Behind square, close in on the leg side. Plus the 2 mid-wickets and a slip. Short cover as well. LBW bowled, caught behind, caught mid-wicket. They're all in play. So is a nice shot through mid-on for Anuj Dahl. The ball rattles into the advertising board in front of us, and 4 runs. Moves to 12, 219 for 5.
That would have got Will Williams. Had he still been there?
Yes. Yes. Where is he? Oh, he's back up here now, isn't he? It's Will Porterfield. He's going to sit down below the advertising board, just leaning on it. Watching Bolson. Well, he did set off and then he stops and
Anderson told him to stop.
walks back to his mark, and now he's ready to come back in. Dahl turns the ball out towards the leg side. There's no run. .219 for 5. Anderson's pointing up towards the dressing room. He's something carrying out, pointing towards his boots, towards his spikes maybe. Here's Balderson over the wicket, balls. Defended by Dahl, pushed into the offside. Blatherwick comes round from backward point to field. No run. 4 coming off the over, which is that very pleasant on drive by Anuj Dahl. So he's 12, Madsen 69. 219 for 5, 72 overs gone of Derbyshire's second innings, and we're 20 minutes away from the lunch break.
71 overs to go. That's a lot of overs.
It's a lot of batting, isn't it?
It is, when you've already lost your top 5. Quite, when Madsen's still out there. Luke Wells windmilling his arms now as well at slip. It's Chris Green continuing from the lake end. His 6th over of this spell, 1 for 12 his figures. He's in, and Madsen sweeps. I think that might have hit possibly on the foot. Keaton Jennings gets a single as a result. James Anderson does the fielding at backward square leg. Jennings' initial reaction was to cover his face, his throat area as much as anything. 220 for 5. The score moves on to Madsen up to 70, equaling his first innings score. As Dahl clips this nicely just to the right of Bailey. Does stop it this time. That was tougher, it seemed, than the first one that got away from him. Dahl moves on to 13, 221 for 5. Michael Jones, you can just hear applauding in the background. He's down at backward point on the boundary as Green is in. Madsen eases this and then realises that Bailey's gone all the way back to the boundary at long on and walks a single to move on to 71, 222 for 5. Again, Wells now going through his bowling action. You can see some leg spin fairly shortly, it would appear. Dahl just settles over his bat. Umpire Treadwell just asks Chris Green to wait. He's in now, and that one is pushed out into the offside, and there's no run. Not sure what Northamptonshire are trying to approve here. They've gone on to 713 for 6. 14 wickets have fallen at Canterbury. Oh, and as he bowled him, he has bowled him. He's bowled him round his legs. Anuj Dahl went down the pitch and tried to whip it away. And Chris Green has another bowled behind his legs. That is never a good way to get out when you're trying to save a game. 222 for 6 now, Derbyshire. And in danger.
Anuj Dahl was bowled by Chris Green for 13.
Of ending fairly imminently, I would suggest. It was behind his legs, wasn't it? Oh, it wasn't. What's he done here? Oh, he's gone through the gate. I thought it was behind his legs. My apologise. Much apologies to Anuj Dahl. I was convinced from my angle.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from here, isn't it?
Well, impossible for
It
me,
is really.
clearly.
Well, it is. It is tricky, but yeah, it's just gone. It's just gone through the gate, hasn't it? It's just. I think it's just put a little bit of extra air on that, hasn't he, Green?
Yes.
Just floats it up a little bit more. It brings Dahl into it, brings him into playing the shot, and the ball pitches and Slides on
Incoming batter, Zach
back in
Chappell.
past the inside edge, but I don't know. I'm no off spinner, but it looked like that was just a little bit of extra flight from Green, and that little extra flight bringing Dahl forward might have been his undoing there. I think that's a very nice piece of bowling by Chris Green. And yeah, Dahl departs, and Lancashire are well on the way here with Derbyshire 6 down.
Yes, very much on the way. It was going so well until about 12:10. And Brooke Guest was trapped leg before wicket by Chris Green for 46. Martin Anderson followed, bowled by George Balderson for 3, and now Anuj Dahl departs for 13. 222 for 6. Lost 3 wickets for the addition of 24 runs. And Zach Chappell goes out to the middle. I think we all know how Zach Chappell wants to play. Isn't necessarily going to be conducive to a lengthy stay. .222 for 6. Likes to move the game on, Zach. And Chris Green bowled the final ball of his latest over. Chappell just about gets the bat down on that, turns it into the leg side, and the over comes to an end. 2 for 26 from his 9 overs. 2 for 15 in 6 overs in this spell for Chris Green. 222 for 6 Derbyshire. 71 to Madsen. And yet to get off the mark is Zach Chappell. Madsen has the opportunity, potentially, if he doesn't run out of partners, if he can stay out there to do something he's never done and score a century against Lancashire. Add them to his list. But it's even that might be a bit tricky, given the situation Derbyshire now find themselves in. But they do only need 291 to win.
That's a good over that from Green. Really testing over. Obviously, it's the wicket of Anuj Dahl in the middle of it. 6 very good deliveries from Chris Green. Madsen going strong at one end. Adding to his score here as he runs that down to 3rd man. That'll be 4 as well. There's no 3rd man in place. Blatherwick is more at a deep backward point. So 4 for Madsen. Steered through that vacant gully region down to 3rd. He moves to 75. 226 for 6. With a dozen minutes or so before the lunch break. Brightest part of the day as Balderson is in. That's a ball angled on towards the pads of Madsen, and he turns it out to the leg side. There's no addition to the score, which remains at 226 for 6. Wickets of Brooke Guest and Martin Anderson and Anuj Dahl. Over the course of the last 40 minutes or so. Madsen defends out towards the offside. There's no run. Guest for LBW to Green for 46. Anderson bowled by Balderson for 3. Dahl bowled by Green for 13. Patience was required in the first hour for Lancashire. The patience rewarded with wickets in the second half of the morning session. There's deep conversation between bowler, captain and Green. And Zach Chappell, the new batsman. Their plans are very much in place. Everyone knows their routine when Madsen's on strike. But what's the setup for the new batsman?
Everybody on the boundary.
Well, they've gone for Green at a second slip position. Keeper still stood up. 2 slips and a gully. backward point cover. Balderson from over the wicket balls to Chappell, and nips past the outside edge and through to Hurst.
Chappell's got 241 runs at 24 this season in 11 innings. Only one not out, so he's been relatively consistent. Half century as well. Michael Jones practicing his batting on the boundary.
Yes, he's at deep square leg, the only man out on the rope. Balderson's to Chappell, off the front foot in defence, and going down into the offside, no run. That delivery that Balderson sent down the previous one. Watching back on the replay, just nipped away from Chappell. It was a beautiful piece of bowling. So a very good take by Hurst, snaffling it just at the top of the off stump. Balderson's in, bowls him. Third of the innings for Balderson, 7th of the match as well for him, and Derbyshire 7 down. Patience in the first hour for Lancashire. The second hour of this morning session, they have been rewarded.
Chappell was bowled by George
with
Balderson.
Another wicket. 227 for 7, the 4th to fall after a good first hour for the home side. Chappell departs, he's been bowled.
Yeah, comprehensively as well. He didn't really go anywhere. His feet didn't really move, did they? And comprehensively bowled. Zach Chappell walks very slowly back towards the pavilion as out comes Ben Aitchison, who didn't last long in the first innings against his former club, of course. And from Formby. There's a look up to the sky.
Incoming batter,
Greeted
Ben
by
Aitchison.
Wayne Madsen, who's on 76 and slowly running out of partners. Still to come. I say still to come. One more wicket and lunch will be delayed. Of course, Blair Tickner and Jack Morley. Can Ben Aitchison, oh dear, can Ben Aitchison last for 9 minutes? It's, they did well till 12:10, Derbyshire. Since then, 29 for 4. Lancashire circling, scenting that first victory of the season in the County Championship. Derbyshire inevitably heading towards their first defeat in the Championship this season. And Chris Green to continue from the lake end. On the effects microphone will last. Ooh. As Green is in, and Madsen sweeps, and is he going to get 4 for that? No, he isn't. He's going to get 1 for it, which will expose Ben Aitchison straight away. I don't think he can actually nurse the lower order batters, aka the tail, for the remaining 69 overs. I think that might be asking too much, so he needs really to take every run he can. Wayne Madsen moves to 77, 228 for 7. It's already his highest score against Lancashire. And Aitchison to face his first delivery of the second innings. Chris Green bowls to him and very watchfully plays it out towards Michael Jones in the covers. Clock on the pavilion is probably a minute fast, so it may only have to last another 6 minutes now. Ben Aitchison as Green bowls to him and pushes this out into the offside. Good lunches here for the players and the umpires. That has to be taken into consideration. Green very deliberately in and bowls a full one to Aitchison, who's off the mark, playing the ball into the leg side out towards the mid-wicket boundary. He was out for naught, wasn't he, first innings?
He was, yeah.
Aitchison.
Off Green.
Tried to play a defensive shot from memory. Third ball expected that. With a single, Wayne Madsen on 77. Back on strike. But the only constant this morning for Derbyshire is that one is whipped into the leg side for another single. He moves on to 78. 230 for 7. Slight alteration to the field for Aitchison as Balderson goes into cover. Slip, short leg. A couple of men on the leg side boundary as Aitchison drives this one up to long off for a single and pinches the strike. Interestingly, he moves on to 231 for 7. His high score in first-class cricket of 50 came in a match that was very similar to this, really. They were hurtling towards defeat against Notts at Derby a few years ago, and he made 50. I think his overall average at the danger of incurring the wrath of his dad is around about 12.5, I think.
He's on strike for Balderson. That's a defender back towards him. There's no run.
He's averaging 17 this season, which is slightly higher than his career average. I'm not sure if he scores 17, Derbyshire will necessarily save the game now.
Oh, he's got a bit of company, hasn't he, as well? Catcher's closing in. This defender back to Balderson. There's no run. 2 slips in the gully, the short cover, and 2 short mid wickets. And Jennings behind square. Kind of a leg slip, but he's close in. So there's 2 slips and 2 gullies now. Cover, 2 mid wickets. So yes, he's got plenty of fielders waiting to pounce. Plays it off the front foot. Deflects it away into the offside. There is no run. Been a superb spell of bowling from George Balderson, 2 for 17 in his 6th over. Green 2 for 19 in his 7th over of the spell. So picked up 4 wickets between them. Current bowlers, Green and Balderson. Edged, gone. Aitchison departs. Derbyshire are 8 down. Balderson has his 4th of this innings and his 8th in the match. He's enjoyed a very good trip to Chesterfield, including his best score of the season.
Ben Aitchison was caught by Chris Green off the bowling of George Balderson for 2.
Green with the catch. Aitchison departs. And Lancashire are closing in on their first win of the season. 231 for 8 now, Derbyshire.
Yeah, straightforward. The catch there, and that will be lunch. In fact, remarkably, even though they're 8 down, you'd have thought they might have thought that we'd carry on for a little bit longer. The players are coming from the field for lunch with Lancashire on the brink of their first victory of the season, and Derbyshire very much on the brink of their first defeat in the County Championship this season. 231 for 8. Thank you, Jane. 3 for George Balderson this morning, 2 for Chris Green. Wayne Madsen.
For the duration of the lunch interval. However, you must remain off the square.
Don't take food on with you either, for goodness sake. Wayne Madsen's unbeaten on 78, and Derbyshire at lunch on the brink of defeat. Lancashire on the brink of victory. 231 for 8. We will return on the BBC Sport website and app, and who knows, on Sports Extra 3. Very shortly, he will be describing a Lancashire victory in the County Championship for the very first time this season, or I'll be describing a defeat for Derbyshire in the County Championship for the first time this season, because they're 231 for 8. We still have 2 balls of the current over being bowled by George Balderson. What's happened now? We've got the wrong headphones on. 230. And here comes Balderson into bowl to the new batter, Blair Tickner, who pushes that one out into the ons. We're a bit giddy because the lunch was late. And when it turned up, it wasn't pizza, so we all panicked.
What's going on?
First time in this match. The pizza's been glorious, but 3 days in a row was a bit much for some people. And then they turn up with jacket potatoes. First time I think they tried them. 231 for 8. And Balderson bowls a no ball. So it's 233 for 8. But it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time, everybody. For those of a Derbyshire persuasion, if you want reaction, you can hear that on Sports In at 6 with Chris Coles tonight. We'll be speaking to Mickey Arthur, and I'll chip in with my 2 penneth as Balderson bowls, and Tickner is beaten outside the off stump. Lovely way to finish the over for George Balderson, who just needs the 1 wicket for a 5 for 4 for 45, probably. His figures at the end of that over: 233 for 8, 78 to Madsen. Can he get to a century? It's probably the only jeopardy that's left in this match, in all honesty. That and the fact that we're in a gazebo that might blow away.
Wind's picked up, hasn't it?
Hasn't it just? Yes, hasn't it just? James Whittaker, speaking of the ground staff, obviously quite keen to get the marks sorted out so we can get off for a round of golf this afternoon. The match referee, I imagine. I don't know if he's a golfer.
There's a burst of wind from out of the blue. If you can have such a thing. 233 for 8. Here comes Chris Green to Wayne Madsen. Well, it was.
It was blown off course.
It was. There's a short leg and there's a slip. There's a deep square leg, there's a long leg, there's a short mid-wicket. There's a cover, a deep backward, good goodness, deep backward point. There's a Green is in and bowling. Reverse sweep by Madsen. Down towards the boundaries, past a bit of litter that's blown onto the outfield. And jogs back for 2.
I'm going to go Chris Packett.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. I reckon ready salted too.
Yes, I think, yeah. At first I thought it might have been Kit Kat, but I'm fairly sure it's Chris Packett.
Green picked up 2 wickets today. And he is over the wicket and bowling. That's on the paddles towards the fine leg boundary. Scooping over his shoulder, there's cries of catch. Landing well short of Bohannon.
Now, will Blair Tickner be able to resist? Big man likes to use the long handle. He's quite as eccentric a bowler, fielder and human being he is. He's quite eccentric when he bats as well.
He's got 3 around him for company. Short leg, leg slip and a slip. Short fine leg, deep square. It's a mid-wicket, mid-off, cover. Green for Lancashire. Need 2 wickets to win. Green is in and bowling. And Blair Tickner, instead of doing anything too rash, just goes back and plays it back along the pitch. Back towards Chris Green. No addition to the score, which is 236 for 8. Green slowly edging his way in, bowls again. Forward goes Tickner. And defends. And there's no run, so 2 off the first delivery. A single off the second. A couple of dot balls since. Because the new ball is due as well. It'll be 3 overs, won't it, after this one's been completed, if it's needed. Green in balls. It's Tickner playing forward. Ball slides on past the edge of the bat.
Disappointingly, what we haven't seen yet is Chris Green doing the little jog on the spot before he bowls to Blair Tickner, which we saw in the first innings, didn't we? We saw that, and it was all in good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite good fun, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Kind of little...
Sort of mimicking Tickner's eccentric style.
Yes, he's put that away for the time being. Green to Tickner. Play back towards him, and there's no run. End of the over. 77 gone of Derbyshire's second innings.
I think Wayne Madsen, if he wants to get a century, Derbyshire aren't going to save this game, clearly, as we've already discussed, but if he wants a century, and it will be his first against Lancashire, he needs to do it quite quickly. 19 more runs required. And dear, oh dear, stop blowing all over the place. I'll get hit by some debris soon. There's a gentleman at lunchtime standing on the outfield about 10 yards inside the boundary, just in front of us, but he was staring at the pavilion, which you can barely see because it's covered in a huge sheet. Because it's a sight screen. You see some strange sights at cricket grounds.
Mainly Preston.
Yes, that is true, actually. In goes Balderson and bowls. That one's whipped into the leg side by Madsen for a single. That's not gonna help him get to 3 figures. As he moves to 82. Just for a moment, Henry went out to get some litter there, and I thought it was going to blow away from him. It was going to be a comedy gold. Just stopped long enough for him to pick it up. Balderson to a surrounded Tickner, who defends very, very solidly indeed up towards Tom Bailey at mid-off, and there's no run.
Yes, and plans are well established in this game, in particular for George Balderson. Keeper set up and a couple of slips, now a couple of gullies and short cover and 2 short mid wickets and that type of thing.
There's only one person who isn't catching close, and that one is turned to him, Michael Jones, at square leg. He does the fielding. There's no run. There isn't anybody else further than about 15 yards away from the bat of Blair Tickner. Northamptonshire declared on 722 for 6. Kent, having made 566 for 8, declared in their first innings, and are 2 for 1.
Right.
Of course they are. There's Balderson in again, and that one is defended by Tickner. There's no run. Gloucestershire now trail by 43 down at Cardiff. Durham were made to follow on despite making 362 by Surrey, and they're 31 without loss, trailing by 427. Essex are crumbling 62 for 6 and still trailing Yorkshire by 29. That's remarkable. In goes Balderson and bowls, and that one is very close to being a catch at Gully, and he's picked up his first run as Blair Tickner. I'd like to even guess. No, don't tell me that. Who the Gully is, I'm going to guess now because he's turned around and he's shown me his number. It's Jack Blatherwick. That might have been quite close to him. Tickner off the mark.
You say Essex was 6 down?
62 for 6, yeah. Yeah. After 20 wickets fell in the first 3 and a bit days.
What's going on there?
6 suddenly fall. Balderson in a bowls to Madsen, who cracks that away for 4. And he moves to 86. That was a nice shot from Wayne Madsen. There are enough fielders inside the sort of imaginary circle, the ring. And once Wayne Madsen had got it away, he picks up another boundary, moves on to 86. That was Wayne Madsen's 12th 4. Close enough to the Lancashire changing room to hear the victory song a little bit later on. That'll be exciting. Can you remember what it is?
It's the same one that they used in the blast. And
Oh, well,
they've used that a few times this season.
I was trying to be facetious.
Yeah, well, it's unlike you, that.
Well, Derbyshire have only sung it 4 times in the entire season, so it's as if they sing it a lot.
There's Green's in. It's also, as defender, it's also a song of few words, in truth.
That's probably good, isn't it? The Ring of Fire is Derbyshire's, I think. I don't know why.
It mainly involves the word Lancashire. There's Lancashire's song. There's Green's in. It's defended by Tickner.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You don't need too long to learn the words. 242 for 8. Short leg slip. Green balls. And Tickner just thrusting forward his front pad. Ball goes on past the off stump and through to Hurst. No addition to the score. Green from over the wicket, balls again. Played away off the front foot by Tickner. Gathered by Balderson, who's at wide mid off. And there is no run. Got some leaves blown across the outfield. Chris Bag appears to have blown off.
It was taken off. Well, the gazebo to our left really has taken off. That was quite scary. George Bell's holding on to it at the moment for dear life.
George Bell's about to take off, I think. We're okay.
Keep hold of it, George. Wow.
Play stopped for a second, but we're back underway. Here's Green in, balls forward again, goes Tickner in defence, and there's no run.
Might be worth taking that down, in all honesty. We don't really need it to shelter from the sun. One of the legs is on the roof of the gazebo that we're in. I think that's the issue here.
That's not ideal.
No, Henry's helping out. Tom's helping out as well now. The members of the Derbyshire media team. Very exciting.
It's a 3-legged gazebo. There's Green's in, Tickner getting forward in defence, and there's no run. End of the over. There's all sorts going on, Belfont and off the field. It was a maiden, I think. I kind of lost track, but it's 242 for 8. Tickner's on 1, and Manson's on 86.
You were absolutely right. What a professional. It was a maiden.
It's a wild guess, really.
I didn't really watch any of that over. I was more concerned about losing my head.
Yes.
And they very sensibly pulled it down. That was excellent work from George Bell, though. He's to be commended for that, because he showed really good. Will Williams has popped up now. It's all finished. Bella, they want something. Well, he's currently trying to save his life here at the back of the pavilion. And Will Williams has said, "Oh, Bella, they want something, do they? Well, tell them to get it themselves then." Blimey.
Almost took off there, George, didn't he?
First ball of a new over from George Balderson, inside edge of Wayne Madson's bat. He takes a single. He looks at his bat on his way down, just checking out that inside edge. He moves to 88, 243 for 8. George, in truth, I just hope that George is okay. He's just wringing out his right hand. It's the kind of thing that you don't really want to be doing. You can damage something as a professional sportsman. The last thing you want is to miss any games because of a gazebo incident.
Yeah, it's not normal on 12-man duty, is it really?
Balderson in, balls to Tickner, who drives, and Balderson fields with his left hand in his follow-through. I think he thought, Blair Tickner, he picked up another run there, but he hadn't. He remains on 1, 243 for 8. The last embers of this match burning slightly longer than I perhaps imagined they might, as Tickner waits and drives inside edge out towards James Anderson at he's one of the many covers and mid-wickets.
Yes, it's that type of field, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots of covers and lots of mid-wickets and lots of slips and gullies.
So the only man outside the close catching area is Michael Jones, who's now gone to backward square leg. But he's still closer to the stumps than the umpire. At square leg, as Balderson bowls, and that one is defending. It's kept a little bit low, not that it matters. And Wayne Madsen wanted a single there, and Blair Tickner said, "No, don't be daft. You're on 87. Single not required." Jack Morley to come. And Rochdale Richards did make 40 against Lancashire as a night watchman in the first game between the sides of the season at Old Trafford. Today he's going to bat about 60 overs. This one is defended by Tickner, who very sportingly turned down that single. That wasn't the last. Oh, there we go again. That wasn't the last ball of the over. There's at least one more. He's given up personal glory in the hope of helping Wayne Madsen to 3 figures. Tickner is beaten outside the off stump. Nice take by Hurst, by the way. He's standing up to George Balderson, who isn't slow by any manner of means. He took it just about shoulder height. And that was the final ball of the over. 243 for 8. Tickner 1. Wayne Madsen 87.
Well, it's been a very good game, this, for George Balderson, and he's had a very, very strong season with the ball. I mentioned before his batting numbers will be down, obviously, from where he would like them, but the game this week, he's got his best score of the season with that 82 and batted beautifully yesterday, part of a big partnership with Ashton Turner, and he's returned with 8 wickets in the match as well. So for him,
from the Lake End, James Anderson.
This will be
new ball.
A very good game. Yeah, Jimmy's back. We've had 80 overs. Jimmy looking to try and wrap it up. Madsen 13 away from, well, certainly in the losing cause, but it would be a really gritty innings from the skipper.
And that's Jack Morley leaving.
It's turned into the onside by Wayne Madsen out to mid-wicket.
Jack Morley on his bike there.
And there's no run. You are a bad man.
He's just seen Jimmy Anderson with the new ball. He said, "No, that's me done. Where's my bike?"
243 for 8.
I think Jack would appreciate that, in all honesty.
Anderson from the Lake End is into Madsen. Turn down the single.
That's Mickey Arthur. They're all off.
243 for 8. Two slips, mid-wicket. There's a deep square leg, fine leg. Long on, I think. My eye deceiving me. As Madsen defends back towards Anderson. There's no run. Yeah, Burley's kind of quite a long way back, isn't he, towards that long on boundary.
I was saying how selfless
A single.
Blair Tickner was in not taking the single. Do you think he saw on the scoreboard 79 overs and thought, if Anderson comes on, I'll be facing him with the new ball?
Possibly, yeah. Could be quite smart, that could.
Clever.
Anderson to Madsen. He keeps that one out. As he is able to force it away into the offside, bouncing up towards cover. And there's no run. Well, they'll come in now because we're edging towards the back end, aren't we? I think there's 2 balls left. I think there's 2 balls to go. So fielders are starting to creep in a little bit. Just the backward square leg remaining on the boundary. The rest edging nearer in. As Anderson is back in to bowl. Madsen drives. And Blair Tickner allows that one to bounce in between his legs. And Bailey fields at mid-on. There's no run. One of the members of the Lancashire coaching staff has got the timing of the Puffing Billy horn off to a fine art there. He was mimicking the sign of, you know, when you can pull the cable when the train. He did it perfectly on time. He's obviously been watching very closely Puffing Billy through the course of 4 days. Anderson comes in, balls to Madsen. That's carved away on the bounce and fielded at backward point by Michael Jones. That's the end of the over. I can't quite see who it was, but it was beautifully timed that by one of the backroom staff. He knew exactly when Puffin Billy was about to sound his horn. End of the over, 2:43 for 8.
Excellent work.
It was. Well, looks like Balderson's chance for a fifer.
Oh, they didn't take the new ball last over.
Oh, okay. Taking it now. Yeah, they're waving it, aren't they, towards the umpire. Balderson's chance for a fifer is going to come to an end, at least for the time being, because Bailey's going to replace him.
From the pavilion end with a new ball, Tom Bailey.
He's only had one first-class fifer in his career, George Balderson, but might have to wait for his second a little bit longer.
He's bowled beautiful, isn't it? 4 for 71 first time around. 4 for 54 in this innings. Just a bit of conversation going on between Anderson and Bailey. Josh Bohannon, as a result, comes up to deepish mid-on. Anderson at mid-off. There's a mid-wicket, there's a short leg, there are 3 slips. Can't see anybody out on the boundary actually now. No need. Tickner goes for the expansive drive. And probably doesn't get within a foot of the ball as it goes past his off stump and through to Matty Hurst. 18 degrees they reckon it is now. I don't believe a word of it.
No, it doesn't feel it, does it? Maybe we've been spoiled because it was...
Well, we go around the back. It's really warm around the back.
Oh, go around there.
I might go around that later. This one is, going past the edge of Blair Tickner's bat again. Don't think he really knows where the ball is. Blair Tickner.
I did stand out in the sunshine at lunch because it was getting a little bit chilly, wasn't it, when the wind was picking up.
Soon warmed up with a cheese-topped baked potato. 47 is high score, Blair Tickner in first-class cricket as Bailey's in, and that one is wide of the off stump, and he knows where that is going because he leaves it alone. Did he hit it? I think he hit a 6 in the first innings. Blair Tickner has a seasonal average of 37.6, helped by 4 not outs. 113 runs so far this campaign, and he's been caught behind. And Lancashire moved to within 1 wicket of victory. He had an expansive drive at that. Derbyshire 440. Oh no, they're not. The 243 for 9 now.
The bowling of Tom Bailey.
Blair Tickner goes, and Derbyshire on the brink. Lancashire 1 wicket away from victory now. And Wayne Madsen out there still on 87. That will not have done him any good, knowing that there's only 1 man still to come. That 1 man is going to make his way out now. It's Jack Morley. And a wicket for Tom Bailey. Tickner goes for 1 of 27 deliveries. Derbyshire a long way, 270 away from their eventual target.
Incoming batter, Jack Morley.
As Jack Morley strides out to the middle. Can he stay there long enough for Wayne Madsen to get the 13 runs he requires for what would be his first century against Lancashire of what has been an illustrious career? Just received news about Harry Moore as well. Been ruled out for the rest of the 2025 season with a stress fracture of his back. So Harry Moore, England prospect, will not play at all in 2025. Disappointing news for him and the club, I'm sure. 243 for 9 then. Tom Bailey about to bowl. And he's on his way in now to bowl to Jack Morley, who keeps a Yorker length delivery out. Ball goes back towards the bowler. Oh. Wind gets up. You may have spotted that in the background. Advertising board falls over. No update at 2 o'clock. In comes Bailey again and bowls, and Morley keeps that one out, pushing it up towards mid-off. They don't like bad news at Radio Derby, so they didn't come to me at 2 o'clock.
Oh dear, right, okay.
I'm not entirely sure why. That's 2 they've missed today. I haven't missed any. Look at the news running order to see if I was actually in it. I'm not even sure, is it now? Well, it says Dave Cricket, but clearly not. Well, their next bulletin will have copy in it. Now it's Jimmy Anderson with the new ball to Wayne Madsen, 13 away from a century. If you have any hatches out there, I would suggest you batten them down.
Yes, occasional blusty gust of wind. Something kind of blew over in front of us before as well, didn't it?
Oh, did it? Oh, one of the advertising boards went down.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's Anderson to Madsen. Clipped away down to fine leg. Just worked up his hip down towards Jack Blatherwick, and there's no run.
I'm always reminded of the late great Bob Hunt at this moment, because he always used to say, and he eschews the run. I think that was the word he used.
Eschews the run. Oh,
I'm going to check it. He didn't like it when batters turned down runs.
Gully in position now, so mid-wicket goes to Gully. 2 slips and in fact, forget Gully, 3 slips. So Turner, Jennings and Wells are 3 slip catches. There's James Anderson into Madsen. Madsen pushes it back down the pitch. They turn down the run.
Eschew, E-S, and then C-H-E-W, meaning deliberately avoid or abstain from. He always used to say it, Bob.
Good from Bob again, wasn't it?
We were in the 2nd division together, of course. You wouldn't have been bothered with Bob in those days.
We had a couple of Division 2 campaigns with Bob. Yeah.
He was good fun, wasn't he?
Anderson to Madsen. That's run away through the offside. They thought about the single there, but I think that's just the 3rd ball of the over, so they decided to wait for at least one more delivery.
He was also mad as a box of frogs. I met him years before I did cricket with his beloved Forest Green Rovers. I walked into the commentary box at Bristol for my first gig 10 years ago, and there he was.
And here's Anderson into Madsen. Hammers that one away through extra cover. That'll be 4. There's a lot of empty seats in front of Green's Dip on the far side of the ground. And I think that's where the ball's gone again.
Yes, I think Josh Bohannon's going to have to go in there.
He's gone.
He disappears quite quickly, Josh, doesn't he? But he's back.
He re-emerged pretty quickly too there as well, didn't he? Able to retrieve it. It's a 4 for Madsen, so he moves into the 90s. 91 not out. And fielders are creeping in now because we've got a couple of deliveries to go of the over. 2-4-7 for 9, so everybody's in, I think. Can't see anybody on the boundary now.
No.
All in, plus the 3 slips. Anderson to Madsen. Oh, that rears up on Madsen and it's in the air. It's falling short of backward point and running out towards the boundary for 4. It's just a defensive shot because the ball's got a little big on Madsen and he's come off the thickish edge of the bat, maybe the shoulder of the bat, but he raced down towards the boundary for 4. Moves to 95.
Remarkable. I think they were hoping it might just go for 1.
Final ball of the over. 250 up for Derbyshire in the second innings. 251 for 9. In comes Anderson to Madsen. And he can't find the single to get on strike. So there's a bit of pressure on Jack Morley here as Madsen works it to the leg side. Lancashire a wicket away from victory. But the Derbyshire captain is also 5 runs away from a century at 251 for 9.
262 Derbyshire would require from here. That would be something. Staring down the barrel of a very heavy defeat. It's a handsome victory for Lancashire. Incoming. And Tom Bailey to continue at 251 for 9. Bowling to Jack Morley, who digs that one out. Pushes it into the offside. Josh